Today on Here for the Right Reasons, former Bachelor Ben Higgins reveals why Michelle Young is a legendary Bachelorette and why new Bachelor Clayton isn't standing out for him.
We expected him to shine from the very beginning. We expected him to be a huge likable character. It's not that we don't like him. He's just fine.
And we have a new villain emerging on this season of The Bachelorette, and we break down all of Michelle's connections. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, welcome to another week of Here for the Right Reasons. How are you?
Hi, Christina. I'm okay. This episode wasn't my favorite episode in Bachelor history, but I'm excited to talk about it with you as always. What about you?
As always, yeah, I'm a little I don't know. I feel like some of these storylines are forced, like the whole Chris villain thing just seemed a little bit out of nowhere. I don't know. It's moving a little slow for me, but we're halfway through the season almost. And, I feel like things hopefully will start picking up a little bit.
We're going to Minnesota. That's where you find love these days. It's all about Minnesota.
Totally. But before we break down this episode, I know that you had a big Bachelor interview last week.
I did. I caught up with the man himself, Ben Higgins, season 20 Bachelor, days away from walking down the aisle, by the way. Shout out to him. And he gave us his thoughts on Clayton, which was interesting and I agree with, but also on Michelle. And he had a lot of very nice things to say about Michelle. So here is Ben.
I think Michelle will go down as one of the legendary Bachelorettes. I think she's really great at it. I've always said when I watch it as a fan now, my mark of a good lead is one that is inquisitive and curious, but also doesn't react, but analyzes and kind of navigates the drama. And I feel like she's doing it well. She's asking great questions. We're getting to know these guys as a result, which, some previous leads here recently, it felt like we went the whole season with never getting to know the cast. And a lot of that's on them. They don't ask any questions. They just kind of sit there and smile and then start kissing them. And Michelle's done that. Michelle is the opposite of that. She is very curious, very inquisitive. She also has a good touch, I think, on what's going on in the house. But she's also still affected by what's going on in the house. And I think that's good because we get to see her emotions in the whole thing.
Do you like watching, kind of looking for the Clayton clues and seeing where they're going to go with that with the Bachelor thing? Or do you find it almost distracting because it's oh yeah, there's Clayton. He's, going to be the Bachelor apparently, or I kind of like seeing how they're setting it up, and I also find it confusing, but it is a little hard to take anything seriously that he says about Michelle. Yeah,
I think it's probably that. I mean, I don't actually mind this whole process of starting filming, especially with the weird filming schedule, and pulling the guy out. There's still 32 dudes that start this thing. One guy, is the next Bachelor, and we just get to watch him from start to finish and see his breakup. That's fine with me. I'm here for Michelle's story this season, and then I'll be there for his next season and focused on that. I'm confused too because you would think they would be setting it up.
Yeah. On Tuesday, the only thing he said was, I haven't had a chance to stand out yet. And I thought it was hilarious they kept that in. But other than that, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he hasn't, and maybe that's where his we've seen the rocket ship type character development, where one episode changes everything for us. One-on-one makes us go, this guy is great.
Yeah,
and I think he has it in him. I don't think he doesn't, but he hasn't had that chance to stand out yet, and so as a result, we don't have the chance as a viewer to get behind him yet. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just expecting. In the next few weeks, I tweeted it as a joke. I don't know if people got it as a joke or not, but I tweeted it this week. I said, I just have this feeling that Clayton is going to shine and become the next Bachelor. Because I don't know what else we're doing.
Right.
I mean, I totally agree with him when it comes to Clayton, because, I don't look at him right now and it doesn't scream Bachelor to me.
Certainly does not. I don't know what their end game is here. Even in the promos, I feel like you barely see him.
I was just going to say, in I think they did a mid-season promo at the end of last night's episode, and he's nowhere to be found. So I'm just what did they see that we're not seeing? And maybe they should have gone back to re-edit it to give him a little bit more love, because this is just not, I'm not connecting with him so far.
It feels like a prank. It kind of feels like a prank. And then obviously he was very complimentary of Michelle, which I agree with to some degree. I loved it. It was almost like a little shade of being other Bachelor leads or Bachelorettes, I feel like he was talking about Bachelors, will just like kiss the person instead of asking questions. And I will say we've gotten to know these guys for better or worse. And I think that's because if the lead does their job, that happens. So I agree with that.
I totally agree with that. Let's get into last night's episode. And first up is our Bachelor buzzword. So what word sums up last night's episode for you?
Unseen.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Michelle, and I get where she was coming from. We're going to get into it. That was like a buzzword. It felt like gaslighting. It felt like a bully, the way they use that word on certain shows and like hammer it home. Unseen, very Ben Higgins, unlovable.
Yes.
Just like, and I totally get what she meant. It was just like almost became a joke because of how many times they like had her say it.
Totally. Yes. Mine was going to be unseen, or I had hard conversations because she had to have a lot of those hard conversations with the guys, about being unseen. That was like a big thing. And, she had tough conversations with her on her one-on-one dates with Rick and, a little bit with Martin, but we'll get into Martin a little bit later too. But yes, an overlying theme was unseen and hard conversations last night. All right. So shipping. I liked Rick and Michelle. I liked their one-on-one. He seemed to be very vulnerable. He was very open, talked a lot about his dad and, kind of how the guilt he felt for, revealing that his dad was cheating on his mom and how that kind of shaped his life a little bit. And I thought that was interesting. And I liked him. The whole like wishes on the mountain thing, like obviously the producers wrote those wishes but I thought it was cute. And it seems like they have a good connection so far. So I know that you're a fan of Rick too, right?
Yes, I've been pretty on board with Rick this whole time. I saw a lot of tweets last night that were like, I can't believe I'm going to end up liking this guy. And it was like the picture of him in the table on night one. And I said that was strange as well. I agree. But I really like Rick. I think he seems to be a genuinely nice human. That story about his dad was interesting. I almost need to know more about his family, which is rare. Usually I'm just like, thank you for sharing.
Right.
Move on. So yeah, I think it was solid. It was a solid one-on-one date. I don't know if I see complete sparks, chemistry, obsessed with each other love, but it seems to be solid, and hopefully I like the way it's moving. He seems to be a solid choice.
Totally. How about you?
I picked Brandon. He was kind of in the background this week, but I know people were liking him last week and everything, but he just came off very sweet when he was like checking in on her at the cocktail party, and the little moments we did see with him felt very intentional, and I like him. Yeah,
I do too. All right. Well, as we know, the show is all about a good one-liner. What did your line of the night go to?
Well, to get into that group date, because I think we both have lines from there, and Michelle's, being unseen and the guys caring more about Build-A-Bear than her. I did like her dropping an F-bomb and saying, it's like, why the F am I here, to the producers? I love a fourth wall, and I love a cursing Bachelorette. And also her comparison to them embracing their inner man-child too much. I thought Michelle was on point this week.
I did too. And, like you said, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I liked that she was like visibly upset. Like you never see a Bachelorette like kind of sitting there being like, why the F are we doing this stupid group date when I could just be like having these one-on-one conversations? And I'm like, finally, you're like, this is how we feel too. Like, we don't need to see these guys like bang each other in the head with a teddy bear. Like, you want to have these connections. And she's like, this is just a waste of time. So I did appreciate that.
Especially because it was like a 2-part of stupidity. Like having them all like hang out and make bears and eat popcorn and play Twister was like the silly part. Then usually it gets into the part of, okay, let's like have Bachelorette have her moments and they steal her. But no, then we had to like spend 20 minutes watching them fight with those bears. And I was like, what is the point here? Like, what is the end game of this group date? I felt like Michelle was so on point when she was like, why the F am I here?
Yeah, totally. Mine was, my line goes to Michelle as well. And she was sitting down with Nate later on. She's like, I'm not this massive prize at the end of this, and I shouldn't have to fight. I shouldn't have to light a fire under someone's ass to want to be with me. I thought that was good because like I guess Chris, we'll get into Chris more later, but when he said like, some of these guys think they have it in the bag, and she's like, what the F are you talking about? No, you don't. Like, don't get so cocky. I'm not a prize that you're going to win at the end of this. So I really do. And I agree. This kind of goes back to your interview with Ben, that she's kind of, saying it like it is, and, standing up for herself and not being like, let's just sit here and make out. Let's actually have these hard conversations. Like, I am here to look for a husband. I'm not here to look for fame. It seems like to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, let's talk about Chris, because that leads us into our thirst. I believe.
God.
You.
I mean, first of all, I didn't even know Chris's name before this. And then all of a sudden he stands up and gives this gigantic speech about how these guys think that they have won Michelle's heart, that they already assume that they're going to get a one-on-one date. And everyone's like, dude, who are you? Like, where are you coming from? It just felt like, he wanted to be seen by Michelle.
Totally. And listen, I don't like Nate necessarily. I've had something about him that I think is a little cocky. I don't know. There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. Yeah. However, this was clearly Chris being jealous. Chris has gotten no time with Michelle. He's jealous because clearly Nate has a connection with her. That is, you'd have to, you can't miss it if you're in the house or watching the show. Nate is her front runner. He is jealous and he is immature and he's just a dweeb, as Nate said. I gotta make that one.
No, it is. And yeah, it does. We're kind of at that point where, the other guys in the house are seeing the connections that Michelle is making. So they're intimidated. And like you said, that they're jealous. So kind of like the claws come out, but this was just a weird way of doing so. And, it just kind of got Michelle riled up, I think, for no good reason.
100%.
Yeah. How about you?
My thirst was the random hot tub in Martin's date. Martin was not really doing it for me personally. I don't know if it was the cut off plaid flannel situation or
the highlights.
Rings, the highlights. There's just a lot to the nose ring. There's a lot going on with Martin. Like, I think he should pick one lane and stick with it. There's just too much to look at and none of it's working all together. But that hot tub cracked me up because, COVID is officially done in the Bachelor world. We are back in the hot tubs and they have that, it was like a random, just like metal tin.
Right, tin, yeah.
Yeah, because it's it was very like footloose, like on the car track. And also him like trying to defend Jamie that he instantly regretted. It was just like his whole vibe was thirst. I kind of was rooting for him not to get a rose.
I was too. I was actually kind of surprised that she did give him a rose because there really wasn't any depth really to their conversation rather than the two of them can't really talk about their emotions and things like that. So I really I wasn't sensing the connection. I don't think that he's going to go much further. Actually, I don't know, because based on the promos, it does seem like he's around for a little bit longer. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe she sees something that we're not seeing so far, but as of last night's one-on-one, not my favorite.
No, me either. And it was like during the day part, he was just trying to defend Jamie. And then during the night part, he was like, all right, I got to turn it on. Like I messed it up. So
yes.
His story of his life. I don't really even remember, to be quite honest.
Right. Totally. All right, let's dive into our cringeworthy moment of the night a little bit more and talk about this teddy bear pillow fight. But it wasn't just that. It's like the guys playing Duck, Duck, Goose together. Like it was just so juvenile and ridiculous to me. It was,
I feel like the whole theme of this season is you start the episode with Michelle in bed with Tayshia or Kaylin, and she's right. And then the episode proves that is not what's true. Last week it was something about being mature. This week it's about being vulnerable. And then they show us that these guys are more concerned about they're here to make friends. That's what it is. It's the opposite problem. That the show usually has. These guys are here to make friends.
Right. Yeah. That was almost one of my buzzwords was bromance, because it just seemed like you said, they just want to have a good time together. Maybe they'll fall in love. Maybe they'll get some, extra screen time. But yeah, it just seems like it's like a bros weekend.
And I felt like we had a lot of time with the Bella twins. And don't get me wrong, I like the Bella twins. They are, very popular. They've had a show for a long time. I get it. It makes sense. But I was like, we have been with Nikki and Brie Bella for quite some time here. I'm like, this is going too long.
Yes. It was also very random. I wasn't expecting, I feel like they weren't teased to be on the show either. I was like, oh, there's Nikki and Brie Bella. Okay.
And I heard on Clickbait, one of the Bachelor podcasts, I can't remember which one of them said it, but that they felt a little wandering eyes. Like maybe the guys were checking them out. And I was like,
seriously. Yeah, no, I'd be a little intimidated. I mean, two beautiful girls that could kick your ass. I mean, definitely. Yeah. How about you? What was a cringeworthy moment for you?
I have a few little ones. Quick shout out to Rick. I do love Rick, as we've established, but the falling in love with you just makes me cringe a little early for me, Ricky. Come on, slow it down here. And also he tried to kind of do the run and jump when he first got there for his one-on-one. I don't know if you caught this, but I think he just assumed it was going to happen. And then Michelle was like, no, we do that at hometowns. And it felt like a little weird embrace. And I'm obsessed with that. So that was a little cringe, but also just Chris in general. And then Michelle was going to kiss him.
Yes. Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Nate, that wasn't even a bomb. He thought he went in for the kiss, and it was a total no from Michelle.
Yeah, it wasn't even a full embrace. It was more of like a side hug action thing too. She was like, no, I don't think so. But yes, no, that was a good cringeworthy moment.
Yes. All right, let's hand out some roses. I'm happy with your rose because I would have done it if you didn't. Really like this guy. Who are you giving a rose to?
Yeah, I'm giving my rose to Olu this week. I thought that the way that he handled Michelle, kind of having that breakdown about being unseen seen. He kind of brought it back to himself and how, you know, his sister kind of had gone through the same thing. And, you know, he got really emotional. He started crying. And usually the tears kind of throw me off a little bit, but these actually seemed very genuine. And he seems like a really nice guy. And I hope that maybe next week she gives him the one-on-one so we can kind of learn a little bit more about his story. But I really liked him last night.
I totally agree. Also, he's so hot.
Yes. Oh my God.
On the teddy bear date when he was like stripping them from his pajamas, I was like, let's go, Olu. You are so hot. I'm so happy he got the group date rose. And I agree with you. I want to learn more about him. And he's promising.
Totally. How about you?
I'm giving my rose to Caitlin and Tayshia just because in that moment when Michelle was clearly so upset and trying not to cry, because of who she doesn't want to like look like, which I totally get where she's coming from because she doesn't want it to be like, it has to be about me. Like I'm whatever, but like you are the Bachelorette and that's what they're telling you it's going to be. And what you saw happen to Matt James, like she watched these girls fight over him and she's watching these guys like make cotton candy. Like I totally understand. She probably feels like she's wasting her time. And I thought Caitlin and Tayshia immediately knew something was wrong, asked, but also then like got her through the date. And then I just feel like it was another example of them doing a good job being there for her.
Totally. I totally agree with you. All right, let's send some people packing. How about you? Who are you sending packing home?
I'm just Clayton. I'm to circle back with Ben Higgins again. It's just like, I feel like I'm wasting my time when he is on screen and doesn't happen very often. And when he is, I just get mad thinking about how he's going to be Bachelor. And I know it's coming, like whatever it is coming, but I'm just like over it. And I almost wish he like was eliminated first and it was like a huge mystery and we could forget about him. Cause now it's lingering over me all the time. Like every time he's on screen, I'm just get distracted and annoyed about what I'm missing. I
couldn't agree with you more. That's all I think about when I see him. I'm like, we're going to have to watch 3 more months of this guy, in a few weeks. And I feel nothing towards him, but yes, I mean, I assume that he goes pretty far because we need to get to know his story. We need to know his backstory a little bit. And I feel like we know nothing. All we know is that his mom's a teacher and that he played football. That's pretty much it. And and then say he's like just quintessential Bachelor, I guess. Mine was Chris because I mean, obviously, like I'm done with the fake drama. I just let's get like Michelle said, like let's get into these connections. Let's kind of get rid of all the nonsense and really kind of start seeing these relationships. So I'm kind of over it. Like I don't need a villain right now.
Again, Minnesota, it's going to come together.
It's all coming together. So we'll have to wait and see. Sarah, who's on the podcast this week?
All right, so this week I got my girl Bravo historian. If you follow her on Instagram, she's hilarious. She's going to recap with me. And then on Friday's episode, you can hear my full interview with Ben, where he's going to tell you everything you need to know about his wedding the day before his wedding. And got some more fun Bachelor people coming up. But this week, we're going to do a little Bravo Bachelor mashup. I
love that. And Ben is teasing it's going to be a Bachelor Nation reunion at his wedding.
And it was almost going to be a Caitlin Bristow, Sean Booth reunion, but Caitlin Bristow couldn't go. So I'm devastated about that. But there's going to be some interesting paths crossed. Instagram this weekend is going to be fun for Bachelor Nation. I'll tell you that much, but listen to Ben on the show to hear more.
I would have loved to see a Caitlin and Sean reunion. All right. Well, make sure to listen to Sarah's podcast, Here for the Right Reasons. Make sure to check back every Wednesday on Us Weekly's YouTube channel for Here for the Right Reasons show. We got you covered on all areas of The Bachelor, and especially over on usmagazine.com. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.